Welcome to Sunrise Extra. Is this Wednesday?
It is Wednesday.
Okay.
Hot mics.
It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Hello. Welcome to Sunrise Extra. We are talking about a couple different topics that are all intertwined. So you may have seen this headline. It came out yesterday that says, we are the unhappiest that we have been in nearly 50 years. And they did this study. They do it every other year. At the end of May, there it is. And so right when the pandemic was happening, but before the George Floyd inspired racial justice protests. So they interviewed, let's see. A lot of people.
That headline almost has an onion-like quality to it, right?
Right.
Like, Americans are the unhappiest they've been in 50 years.
2020 has been rough. And so basically the last time that they did this survey, which was in 2018, so 2 years ago, 31% of Americans said they were, quote, very happy. So 31%. Now this year, we've dropped to half that. 14% of Americans say they are very happy. And half of all Americans say they sometimes or often feel isolated.
We really just need to address the 17% that were once happy 2 years ago and now aren't, right? Because the rest of the people, they were always not happy.
Sure.
Some others remain happy, good for you. But let's talk to those 17% and see why that pendulum has swung the other way. Like you said, though, I think we know, and we can kind of talk about why people are not happy right now. And social isolation is really one of the key factors here, right? People talking about the fact that they just cannot get out and interact with other people, including loved ones, like they normally would. I mean, Brenda, for goodness sakes, just a week ago on this very show, this very Sunrise Extra program, you talked about how you haven't been able to see your own son. You know, even though he lives close by, but in an effort to stay as safe and healthy as possible, you don't have that interaction with your own boy right now.
Yeah, I mean, it really is definitely because of his sister, because she's in that high-risk group. So we've been super careful with her. But yeah, it is weird. I keep reminding myself, and we have this conversation at my house, that life is on hold, I guess, with the stay-at-home orders. Those are lifting slowly, but it's been on hold. But our life really isn't on hold. This is life as it is. It's not the life that we got used to, but I don't want to neglect the fact that we're here and we're continuing, and I need to appreciate, I need to be present for a wide variety of emotions that I feel with everything that's going on. It's still life. It's not like I'm waiting for this other thing to happen at some point down the road. This is it.
It's hard to think, to remind yourself, but that's a great reminder.
That's what I try to do.
With all the job loss and, businesses going under and stuff like that. Good morning, Jeanette from Seaside, Oregon. She's 17% happy, she says. I like that. Give us a percentage. Rob St. Helen, good morning to you. Thank you, guys. Weigh in. We want to also know, we don't want to be, Debbie Downers the whole time. So, like, how are you guys staying happy? Drew, you wanted to kind of ask people, like, what, with so many events, being canceled, you've been doing a fun thing where you kind of have been going back to years past of your, I almost said Drew on the road.
Well, the Out and About segment.
Out and About.
Yes. It was only around for about 15 years. It's okay that you forgot it already, Nina. No, that's the sidebar to the sidebar even. Because, yes, we are talking about this poll, which is a completely negative poll. Americans unhappiest this year, more than they ever have been in the last 50 years. But if you have advice for other people who are not happy right now on ways to stay positive, I'll tell you this much before I get into the event thing. When I was home for those 5 or 6 weeks, whatever it was, when I was broadcasting from the basement, one thing that I did get to do that I never did before and I'm not doing it again now, I was getting out every morning and having a little walk around the neighborhood with my wife, and we would talk.
Oh, nice.
And it was kind of cool, right? And she would even say, she goes, you're in a better mood the mornings that we get out and walk. Let's make sure we do this every day. And so we did have that, that's just a case of, again, having that social interaction with another human being, getting out and doing a little exercise. So if you have some ways that you're staying positive right now that others may benefit from, please share those with us on the stream. That's how this works best, the old two-way street conversation thing. But also, yes, we know on a negative side of things that a lot of the annual events that we enjoy each summer are not happening. Last week we talked about the big car show in Sherwood. They call it Cruise in Sherwood. This week I think about the milk carton boat races that have been a part of Portland happened for so many years. Not happening this Sunday on Father's Day. Next week, the Festival of Balloons that we love to cover here on Sunrise every year, not happening. So, you know, what's that one event that you're going to miss this year? Which again, sounds like a big negative, but if we want to put a positive spin on it, maybe you can share your favorite memories from some of those events, because we know they'll be back.
Yeah,
we know they'll be back.
Absolutely. One of the things that I'm going to miss, and it's kind of ironic because I never go down to it anymore, but it's a nostalgia thing from my childhood, and that is the Waterfront Festival for Rose Festival.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love driving over the bridge and seeing all the carnival things. And I remember, I think I was 10 the first time my mom brought me up. We got on a Greyhound bus from McMinnville, and just the two of us came up here, and we didn't pack any food, and it was jam-packed everywhere. And we went into some donut shop and just got the most awesome, huge, you know, donuts, and we had our little chairs that we bought because we didn't even bring that. But it was such a fun time with my mom. So that's my fun memory of my very first Rose Festival parade. Grand floral.
I loved the Rose Festival too, going as a kid. My parents not so much, like, you know, because they had to ride the rides with you, and as an adult, like, the tummy is not as strong as the kid's tummy. My dad would always call it the scum center instead of the fun center.
Oh, geez.
Sorry, it is the truth. But as a kid, I never saw, you know, that kind of stuff. I just wanted to ride the rides and eat the candy and all that kind of stuff. So I definitely miss Rose Festival. I miss Sunday Parkways right now in Portland. Just those super fun neighborhood bike rides with like hundreds of people, and you can stop and get a snow cone and see neighborhoods. Rod, you have not spoken. I want to hear from you. How are you doing happiness-wise? What do you miss kind of the most doing right now?
You have 3 seconds to chime in. 2, 1.
This may sound trite, but honestly, I miss just sitting around some afternoons and thinking, you know, I think I'll call my buddy, one of my friends, Jeff's been on my mind, Jeffrey. And it's like, it'd be great, just call Jeff and then we can go grab a beer somewhere. Well, you can't really do that right now.
Yeah.
I will say,
So,
Rod,
to me,
that
it's
you were
the
always
little
good at that.
things like that. Those little just kind of spur of the moment.
Because we
Just
talked
to
about
call
that
a
on
friend and
Sunrise
go see
today,
him and
right?
hang out.
That guys don't often call up friends. We don't do a very good job, most fellas, of sort of maintaining relationships, building those relationships, fostering the relationships. But Rod, you were always great
You know,
about
it's
calling
funny,
your
I haven't
friends.
called. Well, no, I'm not, because now you make me feel horrible, Drew, because I realize if I can't go have a beer with Jeff, I'm not going to call him just for the heck of it. So now I really feel bad.
Honesty.
It was funny, Nina, though, when you mentioned what your dad used to say about Waterfront Village, and they changed the name in more recent years, right? I think now it's City Fair down there along the
Called
waterfront.
City Fair enough. Yeah, it was called the Fun Center.
Right. But I remember my mom, one year, she was in visiting around Memorial Day, and they had the big waterfront set up down there, and I brought the boys, and they were probably about 6 years old, and they went on the big swings, the ones where it goes around in a circle, and you really swing out wide, and then they go up high, and she and I are on the ground, the boys up there with big smiles on their faces, you know, and she leans into me, she's like, do you really think that this is good parenting, letting them go on this ride? It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah, it's a classic. I just don't want to do it as a parent. I loved it as a kid. Oh, I love all the comments we're getting this morning.
We're getting a ton.
Ooh, it's hard to keep up. Terry Fletcher, he's been hanging out with his dogs. Love that. Ginny Carlson, good morning, Ginny. We've been missing you. Our loyal regulars, you know, people are sleeping in right now, unfortunately. So Ginny is back. I love to see you. Public gardens reopened. You can social distance beer. Don't stop living. You could survive the Rona and get hit by a bus. Morbid but true, Ginny. Thank you. Yes.
Terry
Don't
Hogan
just
Camp says, I used to babysit my grandkids, so I've never been able to get there this time. But this was the year I was going to the Pride Parade to give out free grandma hugs. I love that. Good
Yeah,
for
no,
you, Terry.
Pride Parade.
You know, I guess there's a lot of positives on here, and then I'm kind of drawn towards Toby Walker, who I've seen on the stream many times, and Toby says, staying positive is an economic privilege. And you know what? I thought about this before we got into this discussion today. You know, how difficult would it be if I wasn't working right now? Because honestly, one of the ways I stay positive is by doing this.
Yeah.
Because this is still normal. Even though we're doing it in 4 boxes versus being together as a foursome in the studio, this is still somewhat normal. more normal than when I was in the basement every day talking about movies, really isolated from you guys. Rod, I understand that you are still in your home there in Vancouver, and I cannot wait till your butt is back in here with us. But yeah, working is a positive, no doubt about it. And this helps things stay normal and takes our minds off of other things that are going on in the world. So I absolutely feel for the people, and there are so many. I mean, how many people do you know that have not been either laid off, furloughed, lost their jobs? There are so many of you out there. I get that, I know that, and I don't know what to tell you in terms of staying positive, because I'm not in your position. I'm not in your shoes right now, but I'll tell you that I understand, and that I am really thinking about all those people, and there are so many of them out there. So listen, Toby Walker, we hear you. Staying positive can be a case of, it's easy to do when you still have that work to go to.
I mean, I don't know about staying positive, but the other thing that I try and do, and it's so hard because, feeling anxiety about your own personal situation or somebody that you love, that is a powerful emotion. But sometimes I do try, because we meditate at my house. We've been trying to do it together, my partner and I, because it's just taking even 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you can spare, 1 minute. They say 1 minute counts. Just to try and sit with all those emotions, because I feel like for me personally, the anxiety drives me to do other things, like if I'm an emotional eater, or somebody may pick up a cigarette, or whatever your thing is, I feel like being able to sit with some of that discomfort, kind of getting a little more comfortable with the discomfort, sometimes helps. Like the whole positive thing, I mean, my personal belief is that life isn't always positive. It just isn't, no matter what you're going through. And every emotion is just as valid, right? So again, that's one of the things. I try not to force myself to feel something that I don't feel. I just kind of try and move through those feelings, because what I find is that for the most part, that they change. Even if they don't always change to the positive, they change to something else.
And I know that meditation is not something new for you. Brenda, you've been doing that now, practicing it yourself for years.
Yeah, and I'm not doing it every single day, but I do find that it helps me. Again, just something that you take a moment and you're quiet. Because there's so much that's not quiet going on around us, and even in this building. I thought it was interesting when you said, it is, being able to leave your house and come to work is something that can be a distraction, but sometimes I feel that coming to work is just a big old megaphone on all the, sometimes I don't feel it's a distraction. Sometimes I really feel, because we're seeing it, we get, involved in the, the nitty gritty. We have to, as we cover it. So sometimes it can be even more painful, to come into work and be faced with that. You can't go, okay, I'm not gonna get on my whatever today, because that is our job.
Yeah.
We have Zay weighing in right now on our Facebook stream. Good morning, Zay. And she's sort of speaking to those same things, Brenda. She says, not only is there COVID-19, now our country is divided. Very sad, but let's keep going. Eat healthy, for one, she says. Go for walks, number 2. Keep your mind in a good place. She says, think of positive and uplifting thoughts, because life is hard at times, but it's here to enjoy as well. Let's not dwell on the negative. Smiles are universal. Share them, she says. Share the smiles.
I liked, let's see, oh gosh, where was that? Rob St. Helen, agreeing with you, Brenda. I think you have to go through some negative to really appreciate the good times, and that's true. Jamie Smith misses live music. Let's see, Linda Killian, she says it's not so much being unhappy as being anxious. And yes, a lot of people hearing that for sure.
It is good to have those things. Go ahead, Nina. I want to hear from Lisa. Or Brenda, whoever that was.
Yeah, no, Lisa Mooney Watson, good morning, says, I'm working out more than ever. It helps set my mood for the day. Kind of Drew, what you were talking about, just getting out.
Geez, yeah, that's I don't exercise enough. That is the bottom line.
I saw your video from yesterday, Drew, of like you went out to take the dog for a walk right before a huge rainstorm happened.
We got out, it was raining a little bit, but I'm like, I don't care, it's raining a little bit. Like, I'll walk the dog, and he's tough, he can handle it. And then, oh my goodness, when I got about 20 minutes from our home, on what would have been about a 40-minute walk, it started to pour. I'm like, well, if I go that way, it's going to take me 20 minutes. If I go that way, it's going to take me 20 minutes. Like, I was stuck in the middle to the point. It was raining so hard where we live. I didn't see it till I got home, but my wife actually texted me to say, where are you at? I'll come get you.
Yeah, there's the video. She's playing it.
There it is. got hammered.
You look thrilled. At least you had a coat.
You know, I did. I don't know. That's not even.
Look at Blaze is like, whatever.
Someone said, oh, you had the wherewithal to put a rain jacket on first. I didn't think that was a rain jacket. Maybe it is. It's the only jacket I have. It's a black jacket that's in my closet. Yeah, there's Blaze
Look
afterwards.
at Blaze.
A little towel. It's like,
Like
yeah,
you just got back from the spa or something.
I talk dog. I believe that look is thanks for the freaking walk, buddy. I was pretty comfortable on the damn dog bed. Anyways, I was thinking that my wife, man, I look at her sometimes and go, geez, I wish I had that mindset, because she finds a lot of things. And Ginny Carlson made me think of this. Ginny Carlson says, celebrate life, cooking with my son, growing plants on my porch. I'm thinking my wife grows plants on the porch. And like she does take like simple enjoyment out of that.
Me too. I love gardening.
Yeah.
We made banana bread last night, me and my daughter, and we've been doing a whole yard project and stuff. But and on one of our, and I want to ask Rod this next, because you've been working from home, you know, this entire time. You have a big family in your house with your in-laws and stuff, and your daughter there. But like we had this big work call the other day, kind of checking in, and on our boss's boss, the big guy, got emotional at the very end, just talking about how he was, you know, like missed seeing us all at work and coming to work, and you don't really think about that aspect of, you know, you think I was all jealous of everyone that was able to kind of work from home in the beginning, and then kind of halfway through I was like, boy, I feel really lucky actually to have somewhere to go and just do something else than just, you know, my house. But I wanted to check in, Rod, with you. How are you doing?
Yeah. Well, you know, I share stories when we're out walking in our neighborhood. A lot of people, you know, have jobs that have allowed them to stay employed and work from their homes. And it seems like when we exchange stories, they're kind of the same theme. The fact that, you know, obviously there are a lot of perks from working from home. You know, I don't get up at 3. I get up at 3. I used to get up at 2:20. The difference is huge. I get to see my family, you know, in between shows and that type of thing. But you do miss, especially with my job, I miss the energy, obviously, of seeing my coworkers, and everybody shares that. But then I miss the simple energy of the way we used to do the presentation in the studio. You know, I'd walk from this big monitor to that big monitor, and there was some excitement in that. So
That's exciting.
you know, I miss that. I miss that specifically about what I do.
Yeah, I get it.
But pretty much everybody I talk to in the neighborhood, you know, the big thing is there's some energy in the workplace that you can't replace from being home working kind of an isolation, you know. I mean, I'm not isolated, my family's here, but my work,
I know what you mean.
Place
Heather
is
wants to
actually
know
isolated.
on Facebook, Rod, why is Rod the only one working from home? Can you kind of explain the weather center and stuff?
This is very sad. I was told nobody likes me.
No.
Very sad.
I actually made a pitch, Rod. You didn't even know this. Just last week,
No,
I
I'm
made
kidding.
a pitch to get you back here.
Yeah,
but
we
the
were
thought
talking
is that
about
there's no way to put you in here without being really close to one of us.
Wow. Yeah, so, you know, I assume at some point I will get back into the station. And, you know, we have a separate weather area it's part of the great big newsroom, but it's off in its little corner, and it's situated so nobody would really have to be in there except for the weather people one at a time. So I'm assuming at some point that option will come back to life. I'm assuming. I don't know, but I think, you know, we can put Brenda, you know, and Nina kind of. Are you guys both in the studio but separated? Is that the case right now?
Yeah, I'm over at the column monitor, which is next to your weather wall, and then Director Brian, a nice little tour of the studio, and then way over there is
It's at
Brenda.
least 35 feet.
nice.
Yeah, but I think the thinking is, you know, like this, you know, weather from your home is working great, and there's no, you know, there's been no issues, and so it's just like we might as well just be safe and kind of
we wait it out.
Yeah, and Zafino the same way. He's been doing weather from home too.
Plus, you know, what I do is kind of, I mean, believe it or not, in today's tech world of everything being online, there literally are no products that I cannot get on my home laptop
Isn't that
in terms of
amazing?
being
Yeah.
a weather forecaster. And we have the remote program that gets me into the actual graphic machine, and I just hit the space bar on the laptop and run that. So I think in a lot of ways it is easier for me to be self-contained than being part of one of the cogs in the big news production that you guys are a part of too.
Yeah.
We can't do the
And if I miss the forecast, I could just bolt my front door and protect myself.
Right? There's a plus. We can't do the cool camera pan here in the newsroom to show how close the weather center is to where I stand, but I can tell you that if I just step off this way, 3 steps later, I'm
there you
standing
go.
where Rod would be, and you can see this quickly. Oh, we are panning. How'd you do that? Whoa.
Magic of
Whoa,
television.
this place is cool.
True, I have to read
It doesn't go all the way, but you get the point. Rod would be very close to where I stand, and Rod and I, we just don't mix that well to stand that close together for 2 hours. I'm kidding, Rodney. I'm kidding. Hey, do you
ahead,
guys
Brenda.
want to hear?
As we're waxing poetic about the logistics of our newsroom,
Yes.
Joanne Berg, I got to read this.
That's the one I was going to read, Brenda. It's
I love
fantastic.
it. Well, okay.
Go for it. I read this too. I was thinking this is a great comment.
Okay, let her read it.
I'm sorry.
Shush. She says, I try to daily reflect on the positives in my life, my healthy children, and my wonderful partner in life. I spend time in my garden and play with my dog as it helps to ground me. As a 2-time cancer survivor, I'm thankful for perspective and realize my needs are more simple than I once thought. I have seen the world change a lot in my 65 years, and I know change is still possible. Mwah.
I
That is
love
beautifully
that.
said. Beautifully said. Thank you, Joanne.
As you were reading that little comment from Joanne got 3 hearts.
Yeah.
Like literally as you were reading it out loud, Brenda. That was very cool to see, very cool to hear.
And then Daniel Bishop.
Yeah, the
I'm
opposite.
with you, Daniel, because right after that he says, I've been drinking a lot more, trying to pretend 2020 is a bad dream.
My God.
I love the 2020 memes. I was just showing Brenda one this morning that there was like a headline out of England or something that said, a pack of wild boars ate and destroyed like $33,000 worth of cocaine hidden in a forest. And then the meme was like, who saw coke boars coming for June? That's what we're up against in 2020 here.
Boars.
Dean Pearl on YouTube says, good morning, Oregon. I switched from coffee to tea in the morning, and he adopted 2 kittens. The little terrors keep me busy playing, and between that and working from home, I've been staying pretty busy. That's great.
I was going to log on real quickly to our text line because I forgot that we haven't checked the text line recently, so that's why I'm slapping the keys right now.
Okay.
Slapping the keys.
I'm slapping the bass man.
Slapping the bass. Oh, man. Andrea Gale, I love yard projects. Me too. Stephanie Mills loves to see Blaze, your dog, Drew.
Yeah.
Andrea says it's not I have to go to work now, it's I get to go to work.
You know, that's a great
Yes.
point, right? Because if you're complaining about your job, really, I mean, if you're complaining about your
Right.
job, think about how lucky you are
Don't.
that you have that job, especially right now.
Yeah.
And I try, because believe me, I'm the first one who says, oh man, work tomorrow morning, sometimes on Sundays, right? It's like the dread of 2 a.m.
Yeah.
wake-up calls on Monday morning, but you have to really think about the alternative, and there's no comparison.
Did we read executive producer Celeste?
No, I saw it on there. Read it.
So
banning
she's
that
such a sweetheart. She said, I will miss the Mississippi Street Fair. That event was happening the same weekend we moved to Portland 4 years ago.
Oh, that is a really
Yeah,
fun
that
one.
is. Great food. Yeah, no, I get that. That's awesome.
You know why that's funny to me? Celeste Ruiz makes that comment, missing the Mississippi Street Fair. She's right over here, by the way. Hi, Celeste. I think it's funny that you mentioned missing the Mississippi Street Fair this summer. Didn't mention the fact that she's missing her wedding this summer, right? She was going to get married this summer.
I know.
That young lady, and they postponed it just because they can't have the wedding they wanted to have.
No, they're going to elope, though.
Yes.
They're still going to get married. They're just going to have the big celebration
Yeah.
when things
Every
open
father's
up.
dream.
Yeah, talk
The
about a
elopement is
canceled
on.
event. Exactly. All right, you guys, thank you so much for weighing in. We love, love, love reading and seeing your comments, and we love interacting with you on all the platforms. This is how it works. We will see you tomorrow on Sunrise Extra. Have a good day.